Sister Ahayah, as the bishop said. Today I'm going to be going over a 72-hour bag or a bug-out bag or sometimes an emergency bag. There are many aspects of survival, and the bishop is actually emailing you a 4-page list of things that I've learned along the way. It might seem like it's long, but please take a look at it and go over it because there's many other aspects of survival besides this. This is just one aspect, but we don't have time to go over everything today. Today I'm going to be going over an emergency bag as it relates to the 5 C's of survival. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my background. Before we get started, I spent 5 years in the Marine Corps prior to commissioning in the Army, where I graduated at the top of my class before becoming the second female in the history of the Army to complete the Scout Leaders course. And then I did 2 combat tours, one in Iraq and one in Afghanistan. So I medically retired early, but I have over 16 years of military experience. I'm not a survival expert, and I didn't go through survival training in the military. However, these are things that I learned while I was in the military, while I served, and things that I've learned along the way. What I'm going to do is go over my bag first, and then leave time for questions and answers afterwards. Have people come up, you guys can take pictures, take notes, and ask questions. And please don't be afraid to ask questions. And I'm here, I'll be here, so if you don't think of things right now, after you've looked over the document, you have further questions, just feel free. I'll give everybody my email address so you can email me any questions that you might have. Like the bishop was saying, being prepared is very important. Obviously, the spiritual preparedness is number 1, but we all have to do something, and we know that something is really coming. I am a retired Army intelligence officer, and last Friday I saw the Department of Homeland Security driving next to me on a Dan Ryan and got off on 71st Street. Okay, so it's serious. It's here. For anybody that don't take it serious, please, this is nothing to play with. So what I'm going to do, how I have this broken down is, for the 5 C's of survival, basically the most cost-effective and inexpensive way to get started with your survival bag and emergency supplies. And then I'm going to go over the rest of the contents of my bag. Your bag doesn't have to look like mine, and it definitely doesn't have to have the same products that I have. Some of this stuff is a little bit pricey, but you definitely can get this stuff for $10. Go on, half with somebody or thirds with a group of people. So let's get started. So the 5 C's of survival. You have cover, which is your shelter. And that's listed, the 5 C's is listed in that document that was sent out as well. You have combustion, which is the ability to make a fire or spark. You have a container, something you want to carry your water in, food in, supplies in. You have cutting, which is some type of cutting tool. And you have cordage, which is some type of rope that you can tie things up with. So for my first cover, these are just 2 contractor bags. Okay, and when I was out during the Feast of Tabernacles, I actually made an A-frame tent with this. So you use the first bag to make some type of shelter to cover the top of your body, and the other bag would be to insulate you from the ground. So you would fill it with leaves or something to insulate your body from the ground. And this is basic, a couple of cents. Okay. Next is combustion. Right here I have fireproof matches. This is a magnesium fire starter or a ferro rod, and basically this thing makes a spark. And then I might not be able to do it right now, but anyway, it creates a spark. You might not be able to see it. And then also I have a big lighter here. But what you want with this is some kindling. Right here is just like petroleum jelly soaked cotton swabs, but you can use anything in your tinder. And I actually keep that in an Altoids tin, my fire combustion kit, which I'm using as my inexpensive container. Yes, this doubles as a container. You can boil water in this, you can make a stove out of this. This is metal, and this is a good thing to have, a couple dollars. For my cutting tool, I have a multi-tool. And this is an inexpensive one that I got inside a kit. It has a knife, different screwdrivers, bottle openers, can openers, pliers, something to basically cut with. This one isn't expensive, but they have some that go up to $70, $80. Gerber, Leatherman, they make these. And then my final C is cordage. Standard 550 cord, which is what we use in the military all the time, they have it at Home Depot. It's called 550 cord because it can hold up to 550 pounds of weight combined. But then you can take apart the different twines in here to use it to tie up your shelter against a tree or whatever, and you can conserve your twine. Now the one that I actually have here is, this was a $20 twine. What's unique about this is that the individual twines actually have a multifunctional purpose. So there is jute twine on here, there's a fishing line on here, and then there's a steel in here where you can use to spark, to create a spark to light a fire. And you guys can come up here at the end so I can tell you the exact products that I have that we can use. So that's a bare minimum. Contractor bags, some matches, lighters, an Altoids tin, this multi-tool, which is about $5. And then you can get basic 550 cord for about $7 or $8 that you can split with like 2 or 3 people from Home Depot. So for 10, 15 bucks, you can have your survival bag. And to carry, you can actually use one of your contractor bags to carry it all in. So you don't have to spend a lot of money. Now what I have in my bag, I decided to add on is this right here is my survival tent or whatever. It's an emergency tent, 2-man tent. I got a 2-man tent because I have a small child, but if you're an average size person, it'll fit 2 people, but if you're a larger person, then it'll probably only be good enough for 1 person. This is about $30. This is actually kind of heavy. I'm looking at getting something else because what you'll learn is that it's good to have a bunch of stuff that you need, but after about 3-5 miles of walking, 30, 40, 50 pounds can get heavy, especially if you're not in shape. So you don't want to just pack a bunch of stuff. I do have a separate bag that has a lot more comfort items in there, like clothes and hygiene items that is designed to be transported. But if I was unable to have a vehicle or anything like that, I would drop that bag and this is all I would have. And this is also designed to be kept on your person at all times. You never know when the grid's gonna go down or when stuff's gonna hit the fan. You might be at work, you know, and have to go get your kids or make it to your safe house or wherever all your supplies are. You might have to evacuate your home. And this is just the bare minimum stuff. The least amount of stuff you have, the more skills you're gonna have, obviously. For this cover, you're gonna have to know how to make an A-frame tent, you know, to a tree. You know, you're gonna have to know how to, you know, start a spark with this and have proper kindling and things like that. So, okay, so for my combustion, for what I personally have, this is actually a titanium camping stove, and I did use this during the Feast of Tabernacles. And what's great is this is a contained heat source, so you don't have to worry about building a fancy fire, because this will maintain it. And this takes anything from sterno cans to just twigs, and it works very well. I saw a demonstration where a guy had just the A-frame tent and one of these, the larger versions of these, and he was able to keep warm in about 30-degree weather outside. Okay, next for my container, I actually have a collapsible canteen. I like that it's collapsible because I can just fit it in my bag. And what's great about it is that when you fill it up, you can just hook it to the outside of your bag when it's filled, but it doesn't take up a lot of space and room, and it's very light to carry, as opposed to carrying a steel canteen. Where would you put it at? So for water, one of the big things about water, you don't necessarily have to have water because carrying water is very heavy. I do have a couple bags in here, and these are sealed with Mylar, and they're supposed to last for 5 years. But these came inside a kit. There are kits, pre-made kits that you can buy, but you may have to end up adjusting it because it's not going to have everything that you need. So what Ready America, I think, and the Red Cross has ready-made packets with stuff like this in there. But again, water is very heavy and you're not going to want to carry it. What you're going to want to do is be able to filter it, okay? This is called a life straw, but there's many different type of filtering straws. What I like, they have bottles. This is a straw. What I like about this is you can drink directly out of the water source. I've seen people drink out of a dirty creek. I'm too scared to try it, but you guys can try it if you want to. I believe it works. And then I also have some water purification tablets as well. These aren't, I don't really like to use these. Obviously this isn't very healthy for you, but in a survival situation, you're gonna have to use it because you have to, it takes 4 hours to work. And what you want to have, what you see is that I have redundancy of supplies here. I have my livestock to filter water. I also have this to filter water. And for my heat source, you know, I have lighters and a ferro rod and matches as well. You want to get as much use out of each individual product that you have. And this is just a knife that was given to me, a multi-tool that was given to me that came inside this kit. However, this is my real knife. For anybody that has ever watched Crocodile Dundee, I don't know, remember when some guy put a knife on him and he's like, that's not a knife, this is a knife. So this is my real knife. And this is a Bear Grylls knife. He's a survival expert. He has a couple of shows on TV. What I like about this is that it's very sharp. You can chop wood with it. Obviously, you can use this as a defense, as protection, and just basic cutting. But it comes with a knife sharpener on the back of it, an emergency whistle, and a ferro rod over here as well, a striker, where you could, you know, strike a fire with that too. This is kind of expensive. This is about 50 or 60 bucks, and they've since upgraded it, and it's more expensive than that. But again, you don't need this. Which brings me to my next thing. This is a chainsaw. And this works really well. I actually did a demonstration on this when we're out in the Feast of Tabernacles, and it will cut like a 12-inch log, like no problem. But you want to have something separate to cut your wood with, because you don't want to dull your knife and waste your knife, you know, cutting wood. And it does work extremely well. So I also have a compass, but I also have a handheld GPS as well. You have to know how to use a compass with the map, and it's a skill that I've kind of lost, and I need to kind of get my skills back for this one. But it'll point east, you know what I mean, head east. But we can do another class on that too, if the bishop wants. This right here is just a dollar store do-rag. This is great because you can filter water with it. You can use it as a tourniquet, you know, for hygiene. And that brings me to my hygiene kit. I do have a hygiene kit in here. I went like 10 days without a shower in the field in the military, okay? And that's nothing. That's just for women. The men can go longer than that. Being able to brush your teeth and wash your face and put some water in your face can really build morale. And so even when I'm always thinking about basic survival skills, I'm also always thinking about comfort, especially for my daughter. So I just have some comfort items in here that aren't necessary. But one of the things I'm gonna point out is right here, this is a tampon. A bunch of survival experts carry this. This is not something I would have normally just carried. But if you don't have a quick clot, if somebody is bleeding, this will definitely do the job to stop that. You might be grossed out by it, some of the men, but trust me, many survival experts do carry these in their packs. What I also have here is a female urinal, and I did use these in Iraq. I'm not going to open it up for hygiene purposes, but it's a little bit pricey. But you don't have to drop trowel, you know, for us women, or if you're in a moving vehicle or whatever, it sometimes can be so inconvenient for us women to have to go to the bathroom. So having something like this is a great alternative. I also have a little mini first aid kit in here. Now this is just a kit. A lot of these items I got from the Dollar Tree, literally, like triple antibiotic ointment, some Visine. And again, some of this stuff isn't, you know, so great for you. It's not natural things, but it'll work really fast in an emergency situation. Pepto-Bismol, different things like that. Wet wipes, Band-Aids, some Halls, you know, different things like that. To be able to, you know, take care of yourself out here, because sometimes people underestimate, or I have all these supplies, but if you know, get a cut and it gets infected, that's going to be a problem. Or if you're unable to stay clean, communicable diseases are an issue. So you want to think about hygiene. That's also important as well. So that, I forgot a couple items over here under my shelter. What I have here is Mylar blankets, and the Red Cross actually has these here. They'll keep you warm, insulated. and they're only $1. An emergency poncho is like 98 cents at Walmart, but you can use your trash bag also as, you know, a blanket as an emergency poncho. And I have some hot hands. That's just because we live in a cold climate. But and then the actual bag that I store my stuff in, what I like about it is, so you see how small it is? Right. You can't. But I like it because it straps. You can strap it over your body, and I can actually run with this. Okay, so that's what you want to think about. And something that you can just keep on your person, you know, at all times. So that's all I have for my bug out bag and survival. So now you guys can come up and ask questions. My flashlight, forgot my flashlight, sorry. So this is my crank flashlight. Basically it's a hand crank. And it's a radio and a flashlight. It's a little bit annoying to kind of use, but it came in one of my kits. You want something where you don't have to use batteries, okay? I do have solar powered flashlights as well that are waterproof. So for your flashlight, you definitely want some type of light, but just be mindful that whenever you have a flashlight on, you're silhouetting yourself. So you're not gonna wanna really have it on if you're running from somebody or trying to hide from somebody. We would use a red lens in the military at night. But you ideally don't want to have a light on at all, or a fire going if you're trying to hide from the enemy. And then I have a sewing kit in here too. I mean, we would always keep these if, you know, your uniform got torn or something like that. It's just, you know, good to have. So that's it.